It's no secret to most that know me that I was not always the greatest student in school, especially when it came to math. Now, early on, I did okay. I always knew 1 plus 1 equaled 2, but once math started bringing in letters, I just kind of lost my way. But the early stuff, the easy stuff, well, I could still kind of handle that, and I do all right today. 1 plus 1 always equals 2. Unless, of course, you're talking about God's view of marriage. It seems in God's view of marriage, 1 plus 1 equals 1. Let's get into our verse of the day, which comes to us from Genesis 2. The Lord God said, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helper suitable for him." So the Lord God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. And while he was sleeping, he took one of his ribs and closed the place up with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of man, and he brought it to him. And the man said, "This is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She will be called woman, for she was taken out of man. This is why a man shall leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh." Adam and his wife were both naked, and they felt no shame. Did you catch that? Genesis 2:24. This is why a man shall leave his father and mother and be united, hold fast, cling, cleave, depending on your translation, to his wife, and they will become one. One man and one woman, one and one, become one. God's marriage math is 1 plus 1 equals 1. That a unique man on his wedding day and a unique woman on her wedding day come forward at the altar, each having their own unique personality. And while that doesn't cease after their vows, what does cease is this ability to go through life as just one person. They are now instead rather one unit comprised of two people. In God's eyes, one and one equaling one. I promise I'll stop saying that, but it's important we get it, because if you're married, and I have been very blessed for 12 years. If you're married and you're having issues in your marriage, it likely is because your marriage math is adding up to 1 plus 1 equals 2. You're not being a unit. You are not walking in oneness. There's really 3 dimensions to our marriage that we need to walk in oneness on: emotional, physical, and spiritual. If you look back on your marriage and I look back on mine, at the times where it maybe wasn't going so smooth, what likely could happen is we would be able to identify areas where we were not in step with one another, where I was wanting to do my thing and she was wanting to do her thing, where you were wanting to do your thing and your spouse was wanting to do their thing. And because of that, you were butting heads. You weren't on the same page. You were not one. And it might have come out of your emotional oneness, your ability to communicate and talk and make decisions together. It might have come out of your physical oneness, your intimacy in your marriage, and that goes far beyond the marriage bed, your overall physical oneness and your comfort with one another and overall intimacy in your marriage. And that wasn't working out and it was causing ripple effects. Or your spiritual oneness. You felt God was calling you one way and your spouse either wasn't supportive of that or maybe didn't believe the same way. And so you were having those headbutting kind of conversations and difficulties. God designed marriage to be two people becoming one. And when we get out of that design and we try and make it two people being two people just with maybe some more paperwork involved, we will make a math problem that will not work. So when you look at your marriage today, how's God's math working for